Alright, hello room 10. This is the first of what I hope are many cool videos you can watch to try to help you with some math problems that you might be having trouble with in your homework. Thanks to the generosity of several of your parents, I was able to buy a document projector, which enables me to show you these images right here in live action. You can see me putting my pen down here. Today's lesson we're going to try to learn a four-step process to solve an algebraic equation. Should help you with this week's homework. We talked about these steps today in class, and I'm hoping they will help you be successful. Now, many of the problems you'll do this week involve a variable or a missing number. In this first problem, it is m. Now, many of these problems today or the next couple days you might be able to do in your head. But there will come a time in 5th or 6th grade when the problems get more difficult, and it's important for you to know how to solve these problems using these steps. So we're going to go through these steps to try to solve 4 different problems today. The first step says highlight everything on the variable side but variable. You can see right here, here's the variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight plus 16. To identify that this is the operation that we need to get on the other side of the equation. Step 2, we're going to do the inverse or opposite operation to the other side of the equation. This will leave m all by itself, and as we've talked about in class, the inverse operation of addition is subtraction. So we are going to subtract 16 from the right side of the equation. Step 3, simplify or solve both sides. Well, the left side is already simplified for us, and all we need to do is to solve the right side of the equation. Now, hopefully this is a fact that you can do in your head and come up with 24. If not, you could always solve it to the side to make sure you have the right answer. Step 4, very important step to keep you from making any silly mistakes, is to check your answer by replacing the variable with your answer. So the original equation had m plus 16 equals 40. So we're going to replace m with 24 and write the rest of the equation. And then we know that 24 plus 16, if you want to solve it to the side, is 40. So therefore 40 is equal to 40. Both sides of the equation are equal, and you've done a wonderful job. Let's try another equation with subtraction. First step, highlight everything on the variable side but the variable. So we're going to highlight minus 24. It isolates our variable b and also identifies what we need to do in step 2. We need to do the inverse of subtraction, which is addition, on the right side of the equation. Now, step 3 says to simplify both sides. B is already simple. Perhaps you can do this in your head, but just to be safe, we can go ahead and solve it out. And we should get 80. Step 4, the final step, is to replace your answer in the original equation and then check to make sure it is true. 80 minus 24 is 56. 56 is right. You guys get yourself a couple of stars for a job well done. You will also be seeing some multiplication equations this week. We learned in class that whenever a number is placed next to a letter, it refers to multiplication. So 2y equals 10 means that 2 times some number equals 10. We learned today to highlight everything but the variable, so we're going to highlight that 2. A little trickier here, we have to remember that that means multiplication. So we go to step 2, which says do the inverse. That leaves y by itself. The inverse of multiplication is division. So we now, on the other side, divide by that 2. I know my facts, so I know 10 divided by 2 is 5. But just to be sure, I'm going to check. 2y is actually 2 times y. We're going to use a dot to symbolize multiplication so we don't confuse it with another variable x. 2 times 5 equals 10, and we know that 10 is equal to 10. That gets us a Yahoo! Last but not least, you will also see some division equations. First step says to highlight everything but the variable, so we're going to highlight divided by 7. Step 2, we're going to isolate or get that variable all by itself and do the inverse operation on the right side. We know that the inverse of division is multiplication. Step 3 says simplify both sides. This side is simple. I know that 7 times 2 is 14, with a 0 on the end makes it 140. Just to be sure, I'm going to plug 140 back into my original equation, and to test, I'm going to divide 140 by 7. 7 goes into 14 twice, and then we have 0 as a placeholder. 0 equals, or 20 equals 20, excuse me. Give that one a single tooth smile. I hope this video helped you. If you took the time to listen to it, I appreciate it. If you can name the first song that was playing in the background, I will give you $1 McMoney. Hope it helped.